Hey planner friends, thanks so much for stopping by my channel. My name is Ryan and this is A Man with the Plans. And we are in my budget binder for 2018. This is an Erin Condren deluxe monthly planner. It's not one of the new ones that were just released a couple of weeks ago. You can tell I added my own tabs. But this is where I keep my monthly budgets. This is where I keep my baby steps for motivation as I go. But today I wanted to talk about sinking funds. So if you've ever watched a video of mine regarding a budget, you'll notice that there's an area in there for sinking funds. I will link a most recent budget in the corner up there for you if you'd like to check it out. And that number I had previously done was $125 every month. Now for me, a sinking fund is something that you kind of just save up and plan to spend for, but you know it's coming. So for example, in Minnesota, we have what's called car tabs. Every single year, you need to pay a certain amount. Mine expire in July, and the money you pay for those is based on the value of your car. And so what I did is that I took how much I paid last year, and then I divided it by 12, and that way, part of the $125 I'm sort of prepaying for the expense. I will also leave a link for a video that Jen Dufour did from Jen Plans, love her. She did a while back and hers is a little bit more substantial, but I kind of wanted to play around with how I originally got to these numbers and how I'm going to be making some changes because you'll notice that the total is going to be different. But essentially, it's a way to plan ahead for paying for something that you know is coming. This way, it's not going to bust your budget, and when you see, oh man, Christmas is coming, well, you've already saved for those gifts and you don't have to worry about it. So I'm using the Erin Condren Wet Erase markers here. I've got the fun Gem Tone one. If you want any of the Erin Condren products I mentioned, I will leave a link down in the description for you. If it's your first time using Erin Condren, if you want to go ahead and click that link, you'll get a $10 off coupon, and then when your stuff ships, I'll also get $10 off my next purchase, so I continue to show you all fun stuff now and then, and occasionally give it away. So I really appreciate it if we were going ahead to use it. All right, let's get started. Across the top here, I'm just going to write the mysterious two words that everyone uses in the budget community, sinking funds. There you go. And the way that I'm going to set this up is we're going to do a category. We're going to do the estimated expense. We're going to do the month that it actually takes place. And then we will talk about the monthly contribution. So there we go. The first one I had, like I mentioned, is car tabs. So I'm just going to write tabs here. And that, based on the value of my car, is $260 every single year. I got ahead of myself. This should say month, not July, but that's okay. This month that I spend this is July. So then if you take $260 and you divide it by 12, you're going to get $22 per month. So if you're following along there, that's the first portion of my allocation for my sinking funds. Let me clean this up because it's going to bother me. The thing I love about these is if you do make a mistake, you can just keep moving on. And so this is month that the expense takes place. Right, so that's the one portion of that. The next thing that I save for is Christmas. It comes every year. For those of you that follow Dave Ramsey, Christmas gifts are not an emergency. You know that that's coming every single December. For those of you that celebrate, you know the drill. I have two siblings and my mom and dad and then a few other friends and loved ones that I shop for. So I make sure that I put $25 a month away because you times that by 12 and it's going to give you your $300. And it sounds kind of funny to be saving June, July, August, and all the months along, but to know that that's just sitting in there waiting for you is super nice. Along with Christmas, I have my flight home for Christmas. It's the one flight I know I'm taking. And with Frontier, it could be cheaper than this now. They just started flying to an airport near my parents' house. And then I usually tend to buy this in November, December, sometimes a little bit sooner. But $250 is what I'll estimate, and that'll include bag fees and all that stuff. And then dividing that by 12, we're going to get around $21. I round it up just to be safe. It's just something that you want to work with. The other thing that I love is I use the Capital One 360. Actually, I learned that from Budget Girl. I'll leave her channel in the cards as well. The cool thing about those is that one, you can delineate them out so you can break these all out if you want to, and two, they're interest bearing. So, 2 cents here, 4 cents here, 5 cents here. It is cool to kind of see it grow in some sort of weird way. I don't know. Feels like you're doing something. The next one is my membership to the judging association that I participate in. I'm not sure what it usually ends up being every year, but I just budget $200. That includes my high school league membership that I have to have. That I typically do during early bird registration, which is in June, and so that way I take $17 and I just set that aside every month and not have to worry about it. The next thing I have on here is car maintenance. And so as we just learned last month, car maintenance, cars are expensive. And while my car is relatively new, you never know what you're gonna need. So the largest sinking fund I do have is $400, and I leave this as, not applicable because you're never really sure. Every 15,000 miles, you're gonna get your car serviced, you're gonna get your oil changed earlier than that. It all adds up really quickly. Thankfully, it's under the extended warranty still. But this is gonna be $34 a month. And you know what? Honestly, that makes me feel better. I did not have to wince at all when I got the bill the last time because I just transferred it over into my checking account, swiped my debit card, and there we go. It was all taken care of. It takes the stress away in some sort of weird way. And the last one I have on here is medical. And I keep this around $300 ideally. And then obviously this doesn't have a planned date. You never know whether it's meeting your deductible. I would recommend though, if you know what your deductible is, have that in there. I actually don't know off the top of my head. But just so you know, if something does happen and you're responsible for the deductible, you can meet it right then and there and feel okay with it. If you divide that by 12, it's going to be $30. No, I lied. My math is wrong. It's $25. See, the beauty of wet erase. So now, lots of people also do in here their car insurance or their homeowner's insurance if they pay it or whatever it is. If you have your small business and you know you're going to be paying those taxes and you just want to take out a set amount every time, you can go ahead and the list can go on and on and on. Homeowners association dues, all sorts of other things. But I think it's super helpful to have that. So for me, we're just going to total it up. And this means that starting in September, I will be putting $144 a month away. Now, I know that folks that are working on baby step 2, like myself, would say, but that's $144 that could go towards your student loans. And I don't disagree with that. Someday I won't have to worry about those. But knowing that all these things are taken care of, it's not going to send me into an emotional panic that I think tends to lead to increased spending. So sometimes, you don't have the money for the gifts, and so you're looking at your wallet and you say, how am I going to make this work? And then you're drawing from, your emergency fund, for example, or heaven forbid, you find that credit card you forgot to cut up, right? And so then I feel like after that happens, there's always this inclination to continue to snowball it. And then you look back on the month of December and you're like, wow, I went to town. So for me, I'd rather take this back and hold it off and be able to feel more comfortable when these things come up, because we know they're all going to come up. Your car's going to break down. You're going to have to travel. You're going to have to register your car. That's where I feel comfortable. And so this isn't for everybody, but I figured I wanted to show you guys how I developed this. If you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I make new videos every Monday and every Thursday, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, planner friends.